Hello, everyone, and welcome to 1v1 with Boss Rush Games. I'm your host, Celeste Roberts. Today, I have the pleasure of interviewing the crew from the EXPCast.
Whoa.
Woo! That's awesome.
That was exciting.
That's me. I'm in there.
And me.
Wait a minute. This is 1v1 and there's four of us. The math just doesn't add up.
So is it technically 1v3 or is it 3v1?
1v4. No, yeah, 1v3, wouldn't it? Yeah.
It's 2v2.
It's like those Mario Party
Wait a minute.
games.
Who's on whose team then?
I got Celeste. Celeste is on my team.
I'll take the achievement hunter on my team. Let's go.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, what's your favorite Mario Party minigame that comes to mind?
Oh.
The one where you have to go on the ball and you have to spin it like this so it just like drills a hole through your hand. That's my favorite one. I love that one.
Is it
I'm trying
bad
to think of
that I
that.
really don't play Mario Party? Like, I bought the Mario Party for Switch, and I literally only played it one time.
Weren't you over when I had that outdoor party?
Yes, and I think that was the one
Was
time
that
you
the only
played
time?
it.
Oh, okay, got it.
That was the one time.
Yeah, that was one of the few times that we played
Best
it. because-
$60 I have ever spent.
First time, last time.
Yeah, a lot of people got mad. And that's why I don't think we play that game anymore.
That's kind of what Mario Party does. But yeah, the one where you're like balancing on the ball and you gotta knock people off the cliff.
Mm-hmm.
I
That
was
one's
just gonna
tight.
say that was my favorite.
I liked the one where you had to collect fruit in this basket and hope that you don't catch the hornet's nest.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What was that one in like 3?
2 or 3.
2?
something
Okay.
like that.
I can believe that.
I love
Wasn't it
2
really-
because they would dress to the theme of the world.
That's
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
You go to like the pirate area and yeah, that one was sick.
Space, cowboys.
Yep.
The Halloween one. I want to say when I first saw the name of your podcast, I did try to say it as one word, like EXPCast. EXPCast.
Yeah. It's funny because that's why we capitalized the EXP, because we wanted that to be the identifier. So hopefully people, I don't know.
It is EXPcast. And what is the meaning behind that name?
So it was actually Dan's idea, and Dan's taking a little bit of a hiatus from the podcast now, but he's coming back soon. But he came up with the idea. We had like a dry erase board in my basement, and we were just throwing up names, and he threw up EXPcast, and I was like impressed because I was like, that's a really good idea from you. And he was like, I'm sorry to say it that way.
Is that like a backhanded compliment?
It's actually kind of funny. Dan has a lot of ideas. We're talking like shotgun of ideas, and a lot of them tend to miss the mark. But the ones that do hit, they hit really well.
Yeah, they hit hard, like where it's like, that's a brilliant idea. So that's literally how I got started with like Dan's, dry erase board names, and that popped up, and I was like, we'll go with that one. So yeah, that's kind of how the name came about. So
Man,
I like
such
it.
deep philosophical lore behind the name.
I know, like, well, like I'm jealous of like, the Bad Bitches podcast, because that was an easy one. They talk about bad bitches in history, so it's like that's an easy one.
Dude, let's talk about 1v1. I mean, one-on-one interviews, it's such a creative name, because it's like video games, 1 versus 1, player versus player.
Yeah.
I like it.
I didn't come up with it. Boss Rush Games has been using it, but I appreciate the compliment.
Oh, you could have totally taken that with you.
Oh, no.
Take it right.
I'm
Take it
an
and run.
honest gal. I cannot tell a lie. I can't do it.
That's fair.
Well, let's talk about you guys. I want to learn more about you. That's why you're here. We're breaking the mystery.
We're boring.
Ah.
Whoever taken, has anyone actually just interviewed you on your own show?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I actually did a 1v1 last summer with Corey.
Okay, and Corey
Oh.
interviewed you.
Yeah.
Well, that must have been interesting.
I hope so. I'm really boring. So
Okay, well let's try to make it interesting. Try to make it interesting. I don't know, like my friend Dan and I kind of started the podcast where we were like, hey, I think it'd be kind of cool. How hard can it be to run a podcast? You know, we just like put a microphone on a table and just talk into it, and we just talk video games. So it's interesting when you listen back to our first episode. It was done on a folding table with a Blue Yeti microphone, and we were like drinking beer and like putting it down on the table like every 2 seconds. So all you hear is basically like a pounding in the background, and then bottle caps all over the place. And I think we're talking about video games. I don't know, but eventually, you know, we wanted to talk more about video games. So then we brought Pat, and then after that,
they realized they didn't play video games enough, so they brought me on.
Yep, exactly. So Pat plays all the video games, and then Pat needed an equal, so we brought Josh on. And yeah, so that's why they sit on the same side of the table when we record, so they can kind of complement each other.
Oh, okay.
Or we, if we were sitting across from a table, we would probably be reaching out and like strangling each other sometimes.
That's true. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Exactly.
We should try that one time, just out of curiosity, and have you guys talk about Yakuza games or something like that. Or
oh shit,
dude, that's a friendly game. We gotta talk about something. Yeah,
we gotta talk about something contentious.
Oh, let's do. We got to do another Last of Us 2 episode.
God damn.
So is that a very divisive episode? Oh.
I know I'm jumping in the timeline a bit, but because like it was like what podcast episodes are some of your favorites? That one was one of my favorites because it was mostly these two going at each other, and Dan's like in the background like, hey guys, like I actually like that part, and I'm just like kind of eating popcorn the entire time like, this is good.
It's not your time yet, Dan.
Yeah.
Just stay over there.
I'm like that Michael Jackson meme, like a Thriller, where I'm just like got this big smile on my face.
Can you moonwalk?
Me? Yes, I can. I was actually doing the robot dance today at work too, as well.
Oh dang!
Yeah, me and the surgeon that I was working with, him and I were doing the robot in front of each other. So
during surgery, nice.
Yep. Well, before we didn't start yet, but
yeah. Okay. That was like a celebratory dance, like.
Well, yeah, because yeah.
I'm sorry, Pat. You were about to say something before I asked that.
No, I was going back to the Last of Us 2 episode. That episode was so divisive that like everything that I thought, Josh completely different. Like
pretty much.
He had like a team Ellie or team Abby, you know, and well, honestly, Josh was neither. He hated both of them.
I was team Tommy.
But have you played The Last of Us 2?
Oh gosh, I have not, and it's on my list. I haven't even played the first one yet. I did edit Eddie V's article on it a few months ago, so I have some spoilers in my mind, but I forgot them already.
Well, that just basically boils down to the story. I thought Abby was, you know, a very well thought out character, and Josh absolutely hates her guts.
Yep.
Why?
But I shouldn't. You shouldn't even say that, because she had the potential to be a good character. The way that they presented the story and the way that they set up the sequence of events, I feel like didn't give her enough time to actually try and convince me to like her. The story was far too jumbled, in my opinion. Like, it didn't give you enough time to connect with her the way that you had already connected with a character that they brought back from the first game. So it was like, you can't make me like this character in this short amount of time. Like, you can't do it.
Yeah, and I thought, you know, they did a good job with her character, especially, you know, when they portray her to be kind of the villain of the game, but then they force you to live in her shoes, and, you know, try and change your opinion around. You know, I thought that was well done.
A sympathetic villain.
It was
Isn't that
not
becoming
compelling enough for me, though.
And isn't that becoming the trend lately in video games? Like that's actually a kind of a future topic that I wanted to explore is why does every villain have to be sympathetic now?
Because it's a good character.
Why can't villains just be villains? Why can't you just be like, I hate
You
that
just wanna-
guy. I
you
hate
wanna
that
go-
girl. I want to like just indiscriminately take care of you. Like,
Yeah,
not
you want to
like,
go back to tying people up on train tracks and curling the mustache? Like,
Yes,
I'm
I
evil because evil.
yes, I do. Yes, I do. I'm sorry. Villain should be a villain.
Oh, please wear a top hat and a long coat.
I'll have to
mean-
buy that. I'll have to make a stop at Goodwill or something like that.
Have some intense
Yeah, there we
piano music playing.
You'll never catch me.
I mean, there is something to be said about that type of character because one of my favorite anime villains is from the series Tenchi Muyo, which is an awful series.
I
But-
love Chichimu.
Oh, you like Tenchi Muyo?
We can have different opinions. It's okay.
But
It's gonna be good.
Not in our
Kagato?
podcast, we can't.
Yeah, true. Yeah, no, everyone has to agree all the time.
Yep. All the time.
Kagato was my favorite villain of all time because he was just so like comically villainous. Like everything he showed up in was just like so over the top. And then when they finally do like the final battle against him, he's in this giant throne room playing an organ and like he's so cheesy that I can't not love him. Like he's just so great.
What is up with villains playing organs? Because
Because they have to be
Dramatic.
refined, you know?
Dramatic.
It
They
all
have to
goes
be-
back to the Phantom of the Opera.
Oh yes,
True.
is that da-da-da,
Yep.
Well, that
I
and
know,
they're always like British.
I know that's not the Phantom. I know that's not the Phantom of the Opera themed song, but that's oh god, what is it called? There's a name for that song, and it's not for release, is it?
Should I ask Siri?
Yeah, now you gotta
Siri,
sing
what's
it.
the name of the song that
Hey,
goes
Siri.
da-da-da-da-da-da?
What's the name of the song that goes da 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 da?
Does she know? Does she?
Featuring Tory Lanez by Meek Mill.
Apparently, I just sung Liddy by Meek Mill.
Oh, okay.
I don't think that's it.
I don't know. I don't
That's
think that's
definitely it. That's
Thanks, Siri.
Dude,
Appreciate
Phantom was
that.
spitting that.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
No, because the
my
Phantom one
mixtape
is,
drops next week, y'all.
the Phantom one is like, in sleep he sang to
Do,
me.
do, 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 do.
Yes, yes. That,
No, I.
that chandelier
of the Op-
scene.
The Phantom of the Opera is my favorite musical of all time. So
Have you seen it live?
I have not seen it live. I kind of wanted to, but then I think it was coming to Milwaukee, but then the whole COVID happened.
Oh, okay.
But,
Go to New York. Do you have any desire to go to New York?
Yeah,
It's a busy place.
yeah.
But
That's
just
a lot of
for
people.
a weekend. Just go for a weekend and go see Phantom.
Actually, yeah, that's a place you could do for a day.
Yeah, go. The chandelier scene is my favorite. Just yeah, you would really like it, Pat.
Oh, I believe I would.
Do you like Chicago?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm more of the older time. So like Les Mis, Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, okay.
I guess French ones.
Josh and Stoyer, are y'all? Oh, we didn't even introduce everyone. I'm the worst host ever. So
No, I
sorry.
think it's because we interrupted you several
I say
times.
we get derailed pretty quickly and
No,
pretty easily.
this-
I'm not
Yeah.
blaming you.
Yeah.
The
That's-
point of the 1v1s is just having a conversation. That's all it is. So, okay, let's start. And we're going to introduce and ask each of you what your favorite musical is. And that was not on my list of questions.
Let's
That's
do
what,
it.
That's
All
what
right.
makes this
Oh.
episode great so far.
Okay, so let's start. Okay, who's the oldest? We'll go in that order.
That's story.
That's me. Yeah. Okay. My name is Stoy. I'm 39. I'm a Gemini. I like motorcycles, and my favorite musical is the Book of Mormon.
I want to see that. I heard it's
Yeah.
great.
I saw that when it was in Milwaukee, when it came to Milwaukee a couple years ago, and yeah, that was good. It's got a little bit of that kind of like that South Park humor a little bit, but like very well written. Like it's kind of amazing to think like Trey Parker and Matt Stone wrote that musical. You know, they did a really good job with it. So
That's awesome. Well,
did you guys think I was gonna say Hamilton? I bet you guys did.
It was like a 90% chance in my head that it was going to be Hamilton. Not gonna
Yeah,
I
I didn't even know you knew a musical off the top of your head, to be honest.
Admittedly, the only two musicals I ever saw was Hamilton and The Book of Mormon. Those are the only two I ever saw.
That's the only two we got.
I feel like
Holy good.
Pat was dropping a little shade there with you uncultured swine. Like that's what I feel like he was insinuating.
Let's segue to Pat, the uncultured swine.
Oh,
I am
he's
the
most
cultured.
Oh, you are the cultured swine. That's what I meant.
The cultured swan. I'm Patrick. I am 37, going on 38. I like video games, like RPG video games. Actually, I play anything, so I just like video games. My favorite musical is Phantom of the Opera.
What's your favorite song in Phantom of the Opera?
You know what? I really like the original, like the theme song, but I'm also pretty partial to Point of No Return.
That's a good one.
Yeah. But
Good
there's
one.
a lot of good songs in it. I just think the Phantom made a very good character. Like I feel his rage. I understand where he was coming from and how like a lot of people saw him as a monster, but it was because of the fact that he was always treated as a monster due to his deformity that he just could not bond well with people. And you know, he was always just so like he avoided them, he couldn't trust them.
Mm-hmm.
And then when, you know, like Christine just comes up to him and it's like, you know what? I don't care that, you know, I don't look at you as a monster because of, you know, what other people are telling me. Because deep down I know you're a person, but what you're doing is very wrong. You know, that validity that he got, that just kind of made him turn around in the end. I don't know. I thought it was good.
Speaking of sympathetic villains, right there, that's a great one.
Why can't just villains just be villains? But that hits right here.
Yeah.
Oh, it's kind of it's a little bit of a Frankenstein, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, a little bit. You get those vibes
for sure.
from Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
He was born ugly. I'm sorry. You know?
Dang, bro.
Dang. Okay,
He was
all
born
right.
ugly and people called him a monster. The devil's son. They locked him in a cage.
Oh dear.
that would cause some mental anguish, I feel,
Mhm.
Yeah.
if that happened to someone. Well, thank you for that, Pat. Well, Josh, and if you're watching this on YouTube, everybody, and you should be, you get to see Josh's sweet, sweet game setup.
I have a couple games. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm Josh, and I'm the youngest member of the EXPcast.
How old are you?
I'm 29.
I remember when I was 29. I remember when I was 29.
Me
I
too.
know, I remember that.
I remember those days.
Me too. It was today. I'm also a Gemini. Oh,
Ooh.
so sassy.
Uh,
Two
Sorry, I'm an
sides.
Aries.
We're two
I forgot to
Um,
mention that.
We are.
My favorite musical, I don't know if I have a favorite musical because my wife is the musical one of us. So she's how I experienced pretty much every musical because once she finds one, she will play the soundtrack to it to death over the next like 3 months. So the one
What
that's in
the-
my head currently is Hamilton because she's still playing that to death.
What musical were we talking about on a show one time and you like busted in and you were like, "Excuse me, it's actually an operette?"
Yeah, because you said Hamilton's a musical, and I was like, actually, it's an operetta.
Yeah, that was it. And I was like, "Ooh, Mr. Bougie over here."
And I'm like, Rachel would murder me if I didn't correct him. So,
Yeah.
and then I went home and said, look, I corrected Stoy on what Hamilton is, and she's like, good job.
She doesn't hate me now, does she?
No, she doesn't
Yeah,
hate
good.
you.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, if I had to pick one from my own personal experience, it would probably be Grease because it's the only one I watched on like my own. But it's also incredibly problematic when you look at it.
Yeah,
So-
listen to the lyrics of Summer Lovin' and whoa.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, the whole
Whoa.
premise of it is not good.
No, Sandy, you were not hot enough at the beginning, so now you have to start smoking cigarettes. And
You have to
wearing
completely change who
leather.
you are, and then I'm gonna lie about all the things that we did over the summer break to be cool to my friends, and like it's rough. And then I'm gonna give you a ring just so we can do it in the drive-in, and then get mad at you because you're like not cool with that. It's rough.
Oh
It's
my
rough.
gosh, the lyric in Summer Lovin', did she put up a fight?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right?
Did she
Like,
oh, woo.
it's not good. But Grease Lightning slaps. So
Okay, yes it does.
I
Can you
mean,
do the dance?
absolutely not. I mean, I could. Yeah, they could do the one
Do
thing.
the hand jive?
I cannot jive at all. Does not jive.
I can do the.
Oh, isn't that West Side Story?
West Side Story, bro.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
there's
sorry.
the
snap.
Sharks
that.
and Jets.
Yep. I can do the snap.
Always
There we go.
jet.
Oh
Yeah.
man, I really love where this episode went.
We're a video game podcast where we talk about musicals.
We're talking about music.
Can you imagine? Okay, what video game would you turn into a musical?
Oh snap!
Oh God. Oh. Ooh.
Can you
That's
imagine?
a good question. Oh my God.
I know that listeners, this is not on the list of questions I prepared for them.
No, guys, Celeste is a great host so far. She is coming with all this
Yep.
like, right off the cuff.
Dude,
This is
I
not
would
Resident-
like to
scripted.
see. Oh, go ahead. No.
No,
All right, fine.
Oh, I think Josh.
Rock,
I would
paper,
like to
scissors.
see a Mega Man musical. Every villain has their own theme song.
that's true.
You're not
It's
going
already
to turn them
built
into
in.
sympathetic villains, are you?
You know what? They might. You
Metal
know?
Man has a tragic
Dude.
story of getting into an
I mean, we got
accident
this.
at
We
his-
got Dr. Wily turned into a sympathetic villain in Mega Man 11, when Dr. Light, called his machine, garbage, and like
Oh, it hurt his feelings.
it hurt his feelings, and then that gave him aspirations to want to take over the world.
You know,
All right,
Mhm.
you ain't wrong.
little baby
Yep.
boy.
I mean, I probably wouldn't want to take over the world if someone called something I did garbage. I'd probably just, feel hurt and then like go cry in my room later.
I'd probably just find another hobby, I guess. Like, all right.
You wouldn't want to
It's,
just take your hobby and use it for world domination?
No, not really. I mean, maybe I would just like, I don't know, learn to crochet or something like that, or whatever.
Wow.
I don't know.
That took a turn.
Dang.
I
bro.
don't know how to crochet, nor do I have any desire to. But I suppose, yeah,
You could stab people with your needles.
yeah,
Sick.
sick.
Let's go. Let's go.
What about you, Josh? I feel like you were.
I'm gonna
Really?
steal stories before you can say it, but definitely Resident Evil.
Son of a bitch.
Please.
Just because
Well,
it would be
I have a
so
backup.
amazing.
I have a backup.
Is your
Wait,
backup Mass
wait.
Effect the space opera?
Stop. It's not your turn. It's my turn after Josh.
Josh, okay. Who do you think in the Resident Evil universe would sing pretty well?
So if we're going off the
Albert
first game, it's definitely going to be Barry. Barry's going to be the smooth baritone, but he's got like the tragic, like, they turned my family against me. Like he's going to have like some kind of like soft ballad at the end that makes you feel bad for him. And it's going to be great.
And in the chorus, it's going to be the master of a knocking, the master of a knocking.
Feel you
You
were almost a
Jill sandwich.
Right. Yes.
Oh my god. Oh.
Capcom, give us a call.
When I woke
Yep.
up this morning, I was not expecting this, and this is the best St.
You didn't-
Patrick's Day ever.
You didn't think you were going to get serenaded by Opera Barry from Resident Evil?
I didn't expect it to go this way either.
I remember, you remember that Caramel Dancing song from like 10 years ago?
The who?
So what?
It was like this little anime sounding Japanese, really Caramel Dancing. Someone animated the Resident Evil people doing the dance to it.
Oh dear.
So I'm gonna have to send it to you guys.
Yeah, I need a reference now. I'm
okay.
curious.
It's pretty
Is it
hilarious.
as bad as Kratos dancing in Fortnite?
Well, I've never seen that, so
It will ruin your image of Kratos forever.
I need to look
Dude.
it up now.
God of War would make a sick rock opera too.
Yeah, that actually.
Dude.
Ooh.
That'd be pretty dope.
Trans-Siberian style?
Yeah,
Alright.
dude.
Ooh.
All right,
This is
Bestoy.
kinda- This is kind of cute. This is kind of
Oh, he
cute.
looked it up.
I'm watching it right now on YouTube. It's kind of cute. Oh, look at that! It's Brad and yeah. All right, cool.
Oh, look at that spread.
Brad.
Oh, it's Brad. Sorry,
Chicken
Brad.
Heart Vickers.
Anyway, obviously since Resident Evil was taken, Mass Effect for me. You know, and we're talking about bringing in all the alien races, like even bring the Hanar in, and the Hanar are the ones that are like monotone voice, you know,
Expressing sorrow.
expressing sorrow, singing angrily.
That's actually how they talk. They have to list what their emotion is so that people understand what kind of emotion they're going through.
Yeah, because they talk very monotone, where they literally talk like this: expressing anguish. Please buy some of my wares.
You could go a lot of fun ways with that.
Yeah, you really could, you know. And I mean, we already had something, Morden from Mass Effect 2, you know, where he did that little song number. I am the model scientific Solarian, an inspiration. Da, 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 da. I don't know.
Oh, dear.
I can't sing it, but yeah.
Whoa! Imagine the merchant from Resident Evil 4. And a
No.
musical.
Welcome.
Welcome. Here are my wares.
Here are my
Yeah,
wares.
you just-
See
song is what you
anything
buy.
that interests you? Maybe a new shotgun. How about some herbs? Not the kind to get you high.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my god! Oh my
Thank you,
God.
stranger.
Oh, that's actually a good song title too.
Thank you,
Thank you,
stranger.
stranger.
It's either what are you buying or thank you, stranger. Like that's got to be his number.
Oh,
Well,
I
yeah.
love it. Okay,
Capcom,
please
hit
start
us
work.
up.
Please start working on this musical. I would pay serious money to see it.
All right.
This could be a
It's-
future
it's
podcast
happening.
episode. We'll see. Yeah, we'll get to work. Get to
Keep
writing.
listening. Keep listening.
I'm not. I can write articles. I can't write music, but I'll certainly give it a spin. I'll certainly give it a try.
Stoy is contributing to the Boss Rush writing group, so thank you for that. And
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. Yeah.
Pat and Josh, do y'all like to write?
Writing is not my strong suit, so that's why I became an accountant.
Even though Pat's really good at it.
What are you talking about?
I mean, you've written a couple couple reviews on our website, EXPCast.com.
Yep,
Look at that plug.
I did. I just feel like I feel very insecure about my writing.
I can understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Aw.
Yeah, I'm always down to write stuff. I mean, I write majority of my writing goes into my D&D campaigns that I do.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I've only written a couple of reviews for us, but yeah, I enjoy it, but it's not something I flex very often.
I didn't know y'all had reviews on your website.
Yeah, we tried a little bit of it in the past, and you know, it was just one of those things like, we would try to divide it up, like, you know, maybe once a month or once every other week, someone would put out a review, and you know, we cycle through games pretty often, like quite often. So like like for
We
me,
may
I
have
don't.
too many games.
Yeah, for me, I don't like to write a review until I've fully completed the game. And then when I'm finding out people like professionals are actually writing reviews for games they didn't complete, I was like dumbfounded. I was like, really?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh,
like
yeah.
once I started hearing about that, like even like the Cyberpunk thing, like people are writing reviews for the PS4 and the Xbox copies while they play it on PC versions. I'm like, that doesn't sound accurate. Like you shouldn't do that, but whatever.
That seems a little, I don't know.
Unethical.
Yeah, a little unethical.
Yeah. But I mean, if you want like there was one review, I wrote a review for John Wick Hex, and I think I only played 2 hours of it. and I wrote the review basically saying this was what my first hour of John Wick Hex was. And I thought, like, okay, I didn't beat the game, but this is what it was like in the first hour. Is this going to entice you to keep playing the game? Or is this going to, make you stop? So,
You know, in the makeup world, we call those first impressions videos whenever people are trying their products. So that's what it reminds me of, a first impressions review.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I think it was the same with being Octopath Traveler. I think I played it for I got at least a good 20 hours into it, I think, before I made my review.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I still have yet to beat that game.
The fact
even
that
went
you're
back
equating
to-
that to like Stoy's hour is just. I only played 20 hours.
20 hours.
I
Like, well,
barely touched the surface. So.
yeah.
It's true. I didn't
Well,
even
actually,
get
honestly-
like halfway through the game.
Honestly, that game 20 hours is like, yeah. Did you even get out of chapter 1, bro?
I did get out of chapter 1, but I never beat chapter 2. And what's
Yeah.
funny is I restarted it again last year, and I literally got back to the same spot I got left. I did one more character story, and then I quit again.
Oh. Oh, Pat.
It's not a bad game. It's just a very grindy game.
Yes. Yes, it is. It is.
But
Well,
I was proud. I made it just a little bit further.
congratulations. It's hard to find time to play games as often as we used to when we were younger, I think,
Yeah.
and to enjoy them. But how
We'll-
did you
we'll go
all
with that.
meet? How did you all meet?
Let's see. I met Dan because I work with his wife, and when she started working where I work, she was like, "Oh, my boyfriend," at the time was her boyfriend. "Oh, my boyfriend's like into video games. You guys should meet." And he's totally into video games, but he's more into anime. And I was like, "Well, I'm not into that, but I'm into the video games thing." And then we, bonded. I worked with Pat at EB Games.
Yep. I was his manager.
Yeah. And Josh showed up in my house one day with his
Pretty
friend.
much. Yep.
And he's like, yeah, this is my. I mean, I'm missing key parts of the story, but like his friend is like, yeah, this is my friend Josh, and him and I had this awkward stare off in the kitchen, and I remember it to this day because you looked like, oh shit, he mad, and like,
You
remember
looked
that-
like you were gonna burn a hole through the wall with just your gaze, and I'm just like, what did I do wrong? I just came to this man's house, and the first thing he does is like, I'm gonna set you ablaze.
it wasn't like that at all. I think that's just my resting bitch face. But I was like, hey, how's it going? Like, I didn't expect, because like I host Extra Life at my house. It's like that 24-hour video game charity event. And I invite all my friends. Like, we're talking 30 people in my basement, TVs everywhere. So I invited my friend Jerry to come, and he was like, yeah, you don't mind if I film, do you? Because he has his own YouTube channel. And I was like, yeah, come on. Yeah, bring your camera down. Come on over. He didn't explain that he was bringing a camera and a cameraman. So yeah, Josh basically showed up, and I was like, cool. And like, I was like, yeah, that's fine. Like, so long as he's not like a D-bag or anything like that. And, obviously we kept in touch ever since. So
Obviously, I was, and here we are.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
I hate to
we-
tell it to you this way, but
this is how I find out.
But- that's all right.
But yeah, it was I came to that first Extra Life. I fell in love with just Extra Life in general, and then got to talking with Stoy more, and then he invited me on the podcast because I collect video games, as is referenced behind me. And we did a collector podcast, and then pretty much after that, it was just, hey, do you want to come on permanently? So I'm like, I'm sure, I like this. This is fun.
Well, yeah, because I remember like messaging Pat and Dan, and I was like, hey, do you guys mind if we just bring on Josh like permanently? And they both were like, we thought he already was. And I was like, oh, okay, all right, that's an easy sell.
I mean, well, it took a little bit to sell me on Josh a bit. When we were trying to find a fourth member, I was trying to diversify our group and actually try and find a woman to give their impressions of video games, and I didn't
Yeah.
have much in that regard.
Yeah, because Pat actually did a lot of modding for a lot of streamers back in the day, like a few years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
And
a
I know,
couple Twitch partners, and yeah, I
Yeah, so
thought
we-
they
Oh, go
I
ahead,
thought they
sorry.
were gonna do we could get at least one of them on and pretty regularly, but unfortunately they were a little bit on the camera shy side, so
Oh.
it didn't quite work out.
well, I think that's the thing with Twitch streamers. Like they're kind of like more so involved in their own work, and I think, and this isn't a knock against them at all, but like
No.
they were very like these streamers that he brought on were very passionate about their work, and they were. Is that thunder in the background?
Yeah, we have really bad weather.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good.
That is
But,
awesome.
Yeah,
Extra
But,
metal. Hopefully the internet doesn't crap out.
extra metal. But yeah, so like they were super involved in their streaming, super involved in their social media and everything. So I think tacking on like another job on top of that, especially being around like 2-3 dudes talking about video games, like
I mean, in order to be successful in the Twitch space, you have to be the grind is real. Like you
Yes.
have to be on that, and you have the moment you slack is the moment half of your people are just going to go somewhere else and find something that's close enough to what your content is. So
Wow.
it's ruthless out there, man. It really is.
No, yeah, it is. I know we've tried to dabble in streaming a little bit, a few times, and when you think about the mental capacity of just like you have to keep a schedule and you have to keep a routine and you have to almost like play a game that connects with an audience, and even sometimes like I've had friends, our friend Micah actually, who we brought on the show a couple times to talk about Pokemon. He centered his channel around Pokemon exclusively. And when he wanted to shift gears to do something else, his fans started to drop. Like literally, like all of a sudden he started getting less views, less interaction, and people even commenting like, why don't you play Pokemon Red? Why don't you play Pokemon this? And it was like, he kind of got sick of it,
Yeah.
I don't think people realize this. I've never streamed before, but and you guys know with podcasting, you're entertaining, and that's exhausting. That is mentally exhausting. So I can't. Podcasting, like we're recording this, it's not quite. You don't have to be quite as on, but streaming, I can't even imagine.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, because not only are you playing something or whatever it is that you're doing, you're actively performing. You're trying to keep people engaged and keep people interested 100% of the time, and they go for like hours at a time. It's theater, but modernized. People think it's easy. It's not.
No, it really isn't. I mean, and like I said, just to even keep a routine schedule, and stay firm with that. Like even if sometimes you have like bad days or whatever, like you still gotta I still gotta go on and stream, because that could be a potential to lose followers, or a follower that could be watching you that day all of a sudden shifts over to another channel because you're not on, and then
It's like I just want to play video games, bro. I don't want to think about all this.
Well, Pat, I want to know what it was like to mod.
It's kind of fun, you get to see like the back doors of like the communities, get to know the streamers personally as well as the rest of the modding crew. But occasionally you do have some jackaholics that jump in, and you get to brandish that little band hammer, and then they come back and be like, "Oh, I was just kidding." It's like,
get up
what?
out of here.
It's like, we're gonna let you like sit this one out for a little bit, and if you want to come back later, maybe. But yeah, it was fun. You do have to keep an eye on the chat for a while, and that does get a little bit on the boring side, because sometimes I wanted to do other things like watch TV or play video games. But it is fun. Being a mod, you definitely were part of a community that there's a lot of people that you can talk to and just like shoot the shit with. It's
Mhm.
great.
I'm amazed, for example, like with modding with Reddit, just how some of those subreddits have people who are really on top of things.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
like milliseconds and things are taken care of. It's nuts.
Yeah. Do you guys follow Ask Historians by any chance?
No, I don't.
Nope.
That's a subreddit where they quickly strike down things if they're not historically accurate.
Jeez.
Nice.
The fact
I'm
that
on
like
it.
you can fact check it that quickly is impressive.
Yeah, I'll say, jeez.
Well, my favorite thing is the people whose comments actually get left up, they have these degrees or specialties and things like these very specific parts of history. And I'm like, were you just waiting for your time to shine? Was there a little bird that was gonna that flew down and told you there's a post with your name on it?
I spent $40,000 to do this. Let's go.
I knew this degree was going to do something.
No, I'm on a subreddit. It's called Scrub Tech, and
Okay.
it's because I'm a surgical tech, so I operate with doctors. I'm kind of their assistants, handing them their instruments and kind of doing other assisty things. But yeah, I wanted to create a community for other scrub techs in the world, basically, to kind of talk about their jobs. And we get a lot of students coming on to ask the same questions all the time. How much do you guys get paid in this area? How much do you guys get paid in that area? Hey, should I go for this school or that school and this and that? And it's like a lot of times it's the same question over and over again, day in and day out. And I'll look through them and I'm like, man, I wish I could just delete these questions, because it's like if you just go through the thread a little bit, you can find your answer. But these people are lazy, or maybe they don't look. So it's like whatever. I don't really do much policing. Like we get some spam every now and then that I delete, but other than that, whatever. I just let it run itself, and I never have a problem actually.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I mean, as long as the community is typically pretty good, and as long as the streamer or is not like promoting toxicity,
Mhm.
you usually have a pretty good community.
That's awesome. That okay. We said streaming is exhausting. I can only imagine that moderating is also pretty exhausting as well.
Well, that's why streamers have mods. They can't do it themselves. So
Mhm.
That's crazy. Well, speaking of games, do you guys want to take a little trip back to your first memories of playing video games?
Oh.
oh, I could.
Jump in the time machine.
That might be traumatic.
Josh,
Uh-oh.
Josh, I'm
Uh-oh.
kind of curious actually with you what your first video game experiences were, because they probably are different than mine or Pat's.
I mean, there actually probably aren't. That they're not that different, because when I started, the first system I actually started on was my cousin's hand-me-down NES. So
Okay.
I had a very small collection of, mostly the ones that I remember were Mario Bros. And Duck Hunt, the dual cartridge, and then I had Excite Bike, which I remember playing a lot. And really, those are the two that like stick out as like the first games I ever played, and it was in my sister's bedroom. So I had to like sneak in there so I could play Mario Bros. Or Excite Bike. And then like if I heard her coming, I would be like, turn the TV off, run into my room real quick so she wouldn't know I was playing. And that went on for a couple years until my parents came home with the Super Nintendo, and that was like the family's Super Nintendo. And we only had one game for it, and that was Super Mario World, because we had that combo
Mhm.
package that they bought, and I played that game into the dirt. So that was like the first one that really connected.
That's a good game. Did you get all the
Nice.
secret levels?
Oh man, I was not good enough to do that at that time. I mean, I did find like the star warp one time, and I was like, "What is
What is
this?" And then I just proceeded to get stomped by it, and I'm like, "Okay, I'm not going there. It's cool, but I can't do it."
Those are
But
hard.
yeah, I mean, yeah. The original NES is the one I started with, and then pretty much been hooked ever since.
Yeah, I had a similar. I started on the Nintendo as well, but I remember like when I was younger playing on my friends. I had two friends that had the Atari 5600, and I was like, these graphics suck. Like I was like a kid, and I'm already like, graphics are too lame. Like at the time, like it was. So I wasn't interested. Like I was like, it looks okay. You know, I'm not impressed. But it was when my friend across the street got a Nintendo. And I was over at his house like all the time. Like I'd be calling him up on the weekends, like, "Hey, can I come over?" And he'd be like, "Yeah, come on over." Like he was super cool with like, me coming over and just hanging out with him. I mean, he was a good friend of mine. I did like hanging out with him, but I was totally using him for his Nintendo. And if he's listening to this, I'm sorry, Nick. I'm sorry. Anyway. So yeah, like my mom would just get pissed basically that I just was never home and that she would have to beg me to come home because I was always playing Mario Brothers, always playing Duck Hunt, and he had Mega Man, the first one. And so they ended up getting me a Nintendo because they were like, now you're going to stay your ass at home. And the only problem was that that was in the family living room. And my dad watched TV a lot.
Oh.
And it would be like, "Can I play a Nintendo, Dad?" And he'd be like, "Nope, watching the news." Like, what, you been watching the news for the last 5 hours? So, great times. Anyway, yeah, and then it just kind of progressed from there. Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo. I got those really late in its life cycles. And then I remember my first paycheck that I ever had, I bought a PlayStation 1. Which went to the bank, cashed it, went right to Best Buy, bought it. So
Nice.
Money
That had
well
to be
spent.
A sweet memory.
Oh yeah.
What about you, Pat?
Well, my earliest memories were my dad had this like portable computer that he would bring with, or he would kind of bring with me, and I would play games like Sesame Street Delivery, or like Ernie's Splash. Just little educational games. But in terms of actual console gamings, my parents got divorced, and my dad used Nintendo as kind of a coping mechanism. I would watch him, he would come home or pick me up. We'd come home and he would sit and play Legend of Zelda, and he would actually like map out like the actual dungeons on like grid paper, and just kind of come up with all, like, he made his own like strategy guide.
Cool.
And that's yeah. And okay, we also had the Mario and Duck Hunt combination too. But then, my mom kind of was getting jealous, so she bought a Nintendo for us at her house. And that's when I got one of my very first games, Mega Man 2. And that game was awesome. That was like one of my very first, my game. It wasn't for my brother. This was mine. And then also, I think later on that Christmas, my grandmother gave me DuckTales. And that was another game I religiously played to death. I think that's kind of when I became hooked. And my brother and I would have to have these little like time limits. Like if I wanted to play through an entire game of Mega Man, he was allowed to play like 2 games of 10-yard dash.
Yeah.
Which was
wow.
which was his like favorite. His game like was a football game, or he also had RBI baseball. But yeah. And then my dad got a Super Nintendo and had a friend that would like hand him like all the games that he finished, and that's where I started falling in love with RPGs.
That's
Breath
awesome.
of Fire, Final Fantasy. Got some good memories there.
Oh wow, you
Evolution of
heard
Gaia?
that one?
Wow.
That was
Wow.
metal. That was super metal. The weather agreed with you there, Pat.
Yep.
You should have segued in. Then I played Castlevania.
Actually,
Ooh.
Castlevania was my brother's game. And while I played it, I was not a particular fan of the original Castlevania. But then my cousin had Castlevania 2, and he would, do the quick shortcut to actually fight Dracula at the end without having to go through all the dungeons.
Oh man,
That was
that would've
actually
been
kind of
nice.
fun. Yeah. I didn't really get Castlevania until Symphony of the Night.
Do y'all want to hear something that people give me a lot of grief about?
Oh.
Oh, yes, please.
The only Castlevania I've ever played is the N64 one.
Wow.
Out
And I
of
one?
out of all the ones you played,
I will say that Dracula actually was a fun Dracula.
I like Carrie. I like her character a lot. I like the villa level.
Yeah.
I know I'm disappointing a lot of people right now.
no,
I'm
no,
okay
no,
with
it's fine.
it. That was a fun
It's-
game. Don't listen to
yes,
those
it-
other people.
As long as it wasn't whatever that other one is, Curse of the Moon or whatever. Or like,
Are you talking about the
Circle
werewolf
of the
one?
Moon?
yeah, the werewolf one.
No, Circle of the Moon was the GBA one. That
Yeah.
one was fine.
That one's fine.
Yeah. I forget what the. Yeah. They created a sequel to Castlevania 64 where you actually it was more of a prequel where you played as a guy who could transform into a werewolf.
Oh.
It was real bad.
Legacy or something?
Yeah, Legacy of Darkness. That's what it
Yeah.
was.
Okay, I
that
haven't
makes
played
sense.
that
That
one.
name makes sense now.
That
Yeah.
one, yeah. That one's rough. I was like, that was your first and only experience with Castlevania? Oh, God.
Literally,
I'm so sorry.
the first Castlevania game I played was 2. And then I was like, are the other ones like this? Because like I totally skipped over 1 because I think 2 was available for rent and that was the newest one. So I was like,
Mhm.
well, I want to play the newest one. And yeah, I was like dumbfounded. I was like, what's going on here? Which way do I go? Like do I go left? Do I go right? Like I don't understand. Like it defied
was-
video game logic at the time.
2 was very much like Link's adventure.
Yeah.
It was just so odd out of the actual series that they're like, you know what? We're going to take a step back and go back to castles again.
Well,
And
Yeah,
then we got Dracula 3.
That was the thing in that time. They didn't know, they didn't have like a knowledge of like what made the original game good. They're just like,
Mhm.
we just tried a bunch of new ideas and it worked. So let's try new ideas again.
Okay, that didn't work. Let's go back
It's
to
like,
the
oh
original
shit,
ideas.
that was bad. Go back.
Go back.
Y'all are making me wonder, are you partial to 2D, 3D, side scrollers, top down? Or does it just depend on the game and that doesn't really matter?
I mean, I kind of float between everything just because of the amount of collection that I have, and that's kind of why I collect. I never did before. This is like everything I've collected so far has been probably like the last 7 years of just me doing it. But up until then, it was buy new game, trade it in right away.
Mhm.
But I think it's kind of what drives me to collect is I want to find new things and try them out. So every time I see a game and if it has like some kind of weird or unique hook to it, it makes me want it even more just so I can try it and see more things that I haven't seen. And because there's so many crazy ideas, especially back in the earlier days when they were throwing stuff at a wall and seeing what stuck. So, like, I mean, I play a little bit of everything, but if you throw like an isometric dungeon crawler at me, I am 100% in no matter what it is. So, like, if I had to pick a preferred one, like, I'll play pretty much anything that looks like that, regardless of subject matter.
Cool.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I go back and forth. Obviously, I have a fondness for side-scrolling retro-style games. I think that genre has kind of overplayed itself, and that's why I don't think we're seeing that a lot of those games being made anymore. Because for a while, like for years, it was I think it was after Shovel Knight came out, and then like every indie developer wanted to be Shovel Knight, and then you saw all these different like retro 8-bit graphic style, bro, just like when you were a kid, and like it got all the 30-year-old dudes like excited about it. But like, man, it was so overplayed that I kind of was like, I don't want to look at another retro style game again. So, but now you're still getting some like gems in the rough a bit. Like one of our favorite ones, Josh and I, was River City Girls, where they kind of went like Super Nintendo like retro style, but like really modernized it, like made it look like this isn't just a retro style looking game. Like this is like kind of like current gen hardware type stuff. So
yeah, they got over that growing pain of like making it has to look old. Now they're like, okay, what if they made that game today using all of the features and all of the extra power that we can put into it? So it's like the next evolution. And, I love it.
Masterpiece.
Yeah. Unlike these guys, I'm actually not the hugest fan of pixel art in my video games, even though, I grew up with the pixels. I kind of like more the smoother, like, give me some more cell shading, give me just, hand drawn. I'll do some pixel arts, of course, like Octopath with
Cell
its
shading.
what is it called? The 0.5 HD.
HD 2D.
HD 2D, yeah.
God.
Yes.
Classic Nintendo being awful at naming things.
Yeah.
I think that was Square, actually.
I'm pretty sure Nintendo had something to do with it too.
Yeah. But I like to switch around. Obviously, I like RPGs, but I'm also pretty big into like adventures like Zelda or Castlevania. But if it's got a beautiful art style and some beautiful music, I will most definitely play those kind of games. Or a great story, or a weird ass story, which is probably why I like Yakuza.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
How's the newest one? If you've played it.
I have played it. I like it a lot. It's shifted too much for Josh's liking, but it fits perfectly with the main character. They introduced a new character, and he has this like vision that whenever he's in battle, he thinks of his favorite video game growing up, which was Dragon Quest. So that explains why the battles are no longer like brawlers, but they're RPG turn-based style with like jobs. Is because that's how he sees himself. He sees himself as a hero, fighting
Super fourth wall.
It's so fucking stupid.
And it's great.
So
It
dumb.
works. It works.
Oh god.
It's a great game. I'm sad that the PS5 version doesn't allow you to use your PS4 saves. I have 40 hours in that game, and I don't want to go back and do that again yet.
Have you guys ever lost your save data before?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, heartbreaking.
Dude.
Yeah, I did that with Watch Dogs, actually. Watch Dogs Legion, when I switched. I got like 20 hours into the campaign with Watch Dogs Legion, and then I wanted to play it on the PS5. And you had to do some weird like transfer to Ubisoft or something like that on the PS4. But like, I think I had already deleted it from the PlayStation 4 because in order for me to play it on the PlayStation 5, I had to delete it from the PlayStation 4. So like, it was just a whole weird thing. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll just start over again. And I got like a few hours into it and I'm like, nah, I'm good.
No.
I'm good.
That happened to me with Dragon Age Origins. I got stuck in a glitch where they're like, oh, okay, cool, you killed the boss. You want to go back to the village now? And I'm like, yeah, but I didn't loot the thing yet. So I want to loot it first. So I said, no, I'll come back later. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, we'll see you at the village. And then I go and loot the stuff. I didn't even get anything good. And then I go to open the door, and the door is permanently locked. Like, you just can't open it.
It's like, you should have left when we told you to.
Exactly. It just glitched, the door locked. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'll just reload a save. And then the autosave saved me in the building. So I was still locked in there.
Oh, no.
And then the prior save was 30 hours prior. And I'm like, I guess I'm fucking done.
Hey, the game tried to warn you. You sure you don't want to go back to
That's
this?
exactly. He's like, you sure you don't want to leave with us? All right. Oh my god. Fuck.
See you later.
Got this cool bracelet, I guess.
I don't know. You guys vaguely remember that game I talked about, Lust for Darkness?
Oh gosh,
do.
yeah.
Where,
vaguely
like I
remember
go to the
that.
main boss arena and there's no boss.
Lust for Darkness.
It's
Don't look it up. Don't look it.
Why?
Just don't.
It's
Just
happening.
don't.
It's
No, okay.
happening.
I guess I can't stop you. Can't stop you. But
You
anyway,
sure you want to look?
It kind of look well. There's a lady posing like the girl in American Beauty.
anyway,
Hmm.
well, yeah. It gets demonic
it gets really
and
demonic and like sexual
hardcore.
depravity and
I mean, it has the word lust in the title. I wasn't expecting.
Yeah,
you know,
obviously.
Pippi Longstocking goes to school or something.
Hey, Stoy, who's the final boss in that game?
a large
PP Longstocking.
Yeah.
Oh, it works.
Oh God, I'll have to go back to that episode because I tried to block that out of my memory and like I think I vaguely remember like
Stoy's
Yeah,
not
what-
used to being chased by well-endowed men
it's not
without pants on.
So it's not a good
It-
game.
so. But basically, I get to the final boss. Well, I mean, I finally get to confront the final boss, like face to face, if you will, and and
More
why
like
did I
head to
bring
head.
this game up? Why did I bring
Dad.
anyway, so like, but like they were playing the boss music, but there was no boss. So I'm running around and I'm like, where's the boss? And like, there's no boss. So like, I'm like, okay, all right, maybe it's a glitch. I load the autosave, do the same thing, no boss again. And I'm like, okay, that's weird, but like it only autosaves up to a certain point, so like I couldn't go back to a previous save. So I reloaded the autosave like 3 or 4 times. I turned the game off, turned it back on again because I was really adamant about beating this game. And like, still nothing, no boss. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm done. Bye. Bye, PP Monster.
Stoy, how did it feel that you could not finish a game where the boss was literally a naked man?
I'm not upset. I wanted to end that chapter in my life, but sometimes you can't get what you want. And
Yep.
yeah.
It's okay. My dad was playing God of War one time, and it was a scene where I think you have to indulge in certain activities.
Did he go back in the boat?
I just remember like you have to press certain buttons, and these
And you had
women
the
are
final-
watching you have sex with another character, I think.
Oh, so that's in okay.
that's
So that's
the
in
2.
3. Yeah.
That's-
And I was
No,
visiting my
that-
parents.
Or is it
That's
2?
actually in like all the old ones, not
Oh,
except for
okay.
the new one.
My dad was like, I'm playing
Like-
God of War, and he didn't realize that was coming up, and it got really awkward. I was like, I'm gonna go talk to mom real quick, just hang out with mom.
Hey, Dad, you know where the weight room is? I'll find it.
Gosh,
Oh man.
what is the scary? Now, looking at Lust for Darkness, what is the scariest game you guys have played?
Well, that is a bad segue because that game ain't scary at all.
Oh, it says it's based on Lovecraft, so it has to be a little scary.
Yeah, sure. I suppose scary. It's anyway. Silent Hill 2 always sticks out for me.
Oof.
That's definitely
Silent Hill's definitely a good one.
yeah. I mean, the first one, playing it on the PlayStation, really like I never played a game like that before, where I literally like had to shut off my system during certain scenes where I was like, nope, out of there.
Nope. Can't do it.
Yep. I actually put like a little tiny sticker on my PlayStation 1 power button that said nope. So like, no, I didn't. But I mean, I should have. Anyway, yeah, that series will always stick out in my mind as like some of the scariest. Like, even like Homecoming. I replayed Homecoming last year for Halloween, and even I was like, man, this is kind of creepy. Like they really did a good job. It's just if they hadn't have made it so combat focused, I think it would have been better. But
No.
I don't want to be that guy, but I would probably say the creepiest one I played was PT. Not even a game.
Absolutely.
When you're like wandering the halls and there's like a refrigerator that like hanging by chains with blood
Mhm.
dripping down, and you're hearing it like a screaming kid inside while the thing's shaking. It's like that's creepy.
Yeah. Nope.
You know,
Not
that's
okay.
gonna leave an emotional scar here.
Is that the game with like a little fetus in the sink?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh,
Yeah. And
ooh.
that woman's with the peg leg is following you the entire time.
Ugh.
So
That one's
I downloaded the VR version of that.
Oh no.
Now I beat that game a couple times. I played through that game. I know where all the scares are. I know what's creepy about it. I played that in VR, and the moment I started hearing that baby crying first, I was like, ha, no. And took the headset off. Like I experienced, and we're done. Yeah.
There's something about children in horror games and movies that just adds another layer to it, I find. I guess because children are supposed to be so innocent, right? Is that why
Yeah.
they get disturbed so easily?
Yeah, probably. Children are always
Mhm.
meant to be innocent and like kind of happy, and you know, and then all of a sudden to hear the tragedy befall them, it's like, oh man, that's sad.
Well, what my wife told me is that demons disguise themselves as children so that you lower your guard and it welcomes them in more.
Those
Ooh.
sons
It's like that scene from Dead Space 2.
Oh God,
The
yeah,
baby.
with the freaking Cthulhu fetus babies. Yeah, oh my God,
Oh,
Whoa.
oh God, yeah, that whole childcare scene. Whew.
that's
Yeah.
rough.
That's that was sad.
I need
That
to
was-
know. I need to know more
You
because I've never played Dead Space, but I want to know.
Oh my God.
There's a lady. This you're looking into a glass like room, like a daycare room,
Spoilers.
and there's
everybody.
this like, yeah, it's spoilers for like 20-year-old game. It's a great game though. Check it out.
Yeah.
There's this like demonic baby with like a bulbous back crawling to this lady who's probably like his mom, and you know the mom picks him up and the baby explodes
Why?
Sick.
because these babies are bombs.
Yeah, they're
And
baby.
it
Yeah.
kills the mom.
Well,
So was
it's,
it her
it's-
actual baby?
I think it's tragic because that was supposed to be her baby, and yeah, obviously.
But- So yeah, lot of backstory with Dead Space. There's like this weird alien like totem thing that they've unearthed, and it
Monolith,
essentially turns people into these weird like zombified alien things. And the marker is what they call it, got placed on this like inhabited. Was it a ship or was it a planet? I don't remember too.
Well, they found it on a
two-
planet, but they brought it to their ship because
Yeah.
there was that religious cult that worshipped the idol.
Yeah.
The monolith.
So like the more then it goes typical zombie route where, you know, like once you're like stabbed by it or whatever, you start to turn into more of these things and it starts to spread. So they essentially like all of this zombified virus thing spread throughout an entire like in like, you know, fertility ward. So like every baby has been turned into this weird zombified necromorph thing. And yeah, it's real brutal, it's real nasty.
I mean, the whole
Yeah.
game itself is pretty nasty. Like some of the monster designs are really good. Think Clive Barker style, where it's just like really grotesque and
Yeah,
you know.
grotesque body horror stuff.
Yeah.
Like really over the top, bloody, mutilating.
Mhm.
Metal's hell.
Oh yeah.
Where's the thunder? Come on. Come on, weather.
Yeah.
Cooperate.
Yeah, what the hell? Back up. Come on.
Yeah.
Hey, Thor
0 out of
backed
10.
me up. Okay.
Well, I would like to know, what can people expect to find on your podcast? There are a lot of gaming podcasts, and what would you say kind of makes yours unique? What do you hope to do? Obviously, y'all are friends and y'all have fun, and that's attractive to me in a podcast. Just banter, like your Legend of Zelda episode. I was making dinner or lunch, and I was crying laughing in the kitchen.
That hearing that makes me happy because I think that's our biggest strength is our banter. You know, I always pride that we're 4 people, but we have completely different styles of video games and different play styles. We like different genres, you know, and we kind of like poke fun and make fun of each other for it, and we do it all in good fun, you know. I don't know. I think these guys have a tally on me to see how many times I can mention Mass Effect in that podcast episode. I wonder if they have a counter like there's one. Yeah,
if we all have that thing. Josh is like Diablo or Monster Hunter, and I'm Yakuza or
yeah.
I don't know.
Dan, when he was on, he would always play the most random, weirdest game. Like, oh, I played this game called where you're a piece of bread and you're walking around the house as a piece of bread. And I'm like, we're all like, where did you find this game? So like, we actually created. Well, we do at the end of every year, we do a video game awards. The EXPcasties. The EXPcasties. Right? I hate that name so much.
Better than the Dundies, I guess.
Yeah,
he says it every time. Every time he's, I hate that name so much.
The Casties.
That's
He's like
the title of
Cast
it.
Awards. I'm like, no, it's the Casties.
I hate that name so much. Anyway, so like we actually created a category called Best Dan Game, where it's just like the most weirdest off the wall game that we played all year.
Yeah.
And
you know what? We had to disagree with Dan this year.
Wow.
He's like, oh, my Dan game is Fall Guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it had to have been Wadham.
Yeah.
I was like, that's way too pedestrian, Dan. Come on.
Yeah, come on. Even for him.
Yeah.
So yeah, we picked Wadham, and we are not going to describe that game.
Oh, that's a great game.
Wadham? How do you spell that?
Wattum.
Wadham. Game? Okay. What's up?
Yeah, Josh is the one that
Oh.
played it. And I just remember like him playing it at the recent Extra Life event that we had, and just hearing, I don't know what was going on, but I think everybody in my basement stopped what they were doing to watch like what's happening on the TV right now.
This thing running around in a circle screaming, and I'm just standing there like dead inside, just like, I gotta finish this game, man. I'm so close. Like
But you were experiencing a glitch at the time, right? So like
Yep.
the game was perpetually cycling through that laughter.
It looks like
beat it.
Katamari a little bit.
Oh
It was-
god,
It's actually
made
made
by
by
the
the
same
same person.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that explains. Oh, it looks cute.
No, it's not.
It's a 9 out of 10 on Steam.
I mean, if you want to give it a shot, go for it. But it's something. I
hope
can't
you
even
like
explain it to
children
you.
Laughter.
Yeah.
That's
It's-
amazing.
It's like Katamari mixed with Teletubbies, I guess. That's the only way I can describe it.
I want to
But,
know more about that. I want to know more about this game.
Oh, geez. That'll be a whole.
I'm
nother-
out. This is a great podcast. I'll see y'all later.
All right, bye.
Keep talking about that damn game again.
I think you just have to go back to one of our old episodes. But
I can dig it.
that's one of the things that, like I said, that really sets us apart is that, like I said, our banter, that we've all been friends for so long, and we can kind of really connect on that level. And it's like every episode we seem to learn something about each other that kind of adds more to the episodes, and it doesn't make it wooden. Like, there are no awkward silences. There are no like, how are we gonna move on past this? What's the next talking point? Like, we're always talking to each other during the week, setting up the next episodes, and we're always like just having a good time. And I think that's part of it. Like, the moment, and these guys will kind of make fun of me because like in the beginning I was all like work, and then like something changed in me where I was like, let's just have some fun with it. And at least for me, I think it's improved after that. Like, once we started having fun with it, and that's when
I think it happened about a year ago.
Yeah,
roughly a year at this time. There was a time we almost broke up.
yeah, and it was my fault because I was not having a good time, I think, just in general.
Aw.
And I had to step away from it for a little bit, just to kind of, I call it mental recalibration. And I had to kind of like, I don't know, just like I said, go through some stuff. And I called these guys back, and I was like, hey, let's bring the band back together again.
Oh.
And I think just, I don't know, that probably helped. I
think it did, because you stopped worrying about like, oh, we have to build up the numbers, we have to release all this content, and I mean, those are important, but you were just so focused on that
Yeah.
it made you not like it anymore.
Yeah.
And now we just seem to have fun with our conversations and just play it more casual.
Which is interesting because the moment that started happening and the moment we became a little bit, our banter became better, our numbers actually started to increase. Because
Wow.
I look at the numbers and I'm like, man, we're actually, and that's what it comes down to. It's not just like, you know, the best equipment. It's not having like, you know, the best social media presence or whatever, this and that. It's really comes down to your content. And when people tune in to listen to you, are they going to have fun? Are they going to learn? Are they going to like pick, you know, oh, okay, Pat's my favorite or Josh is my favorite, you know, or whatever. Like, that's kind of cool. Like, that's the kind of content we want to make, and we want to have fun doing it.
I like that. And I like that you also have brought in people who can offer different perspectives, like with Black History Month. I really enjoyed that episode with Antonio.
Yeah, that was Josh's friend, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
I've been wanting to get him on for a long time because essentially what we do on the podcast is what he and I do every day at work, because I work with him now. So we just come in and go like, man, you ain't going to believe this bullshit that I did last night. Like, so like, I knew he was going to fit in perfectly with the podcast, and I wanted to get his insight on that because I know I had those questions, and I can guarantee a bunch of other people wanted to ask those questions, but either didn't feel comfortable enough to do so. And I wanted to see his perspective and give him a chance to actually say it where other people could hear it. And the fact that we can do that with the podcast, I love it. It's awesome.
Yeah, and we try not to shy away from stuff like that.
In fact, we actually just had this like really awesome podcast. I think we recorded it just last weekend. We brought on a very special guest, and she brought like an opinion of, you know, female perspective in video games. And you know what? It was like one of the most enlightening conversations I think we've had, and it was very good. Like, I think we learned a lot about each other that day.
Hey, Pat, you want to check your mic? You got a little brown on your nose there, bud.
Yeah, bro.
Not sure what that is.
Take care of that. Take care of that.
Gee.
Hey,
No,
you guys have
I think
to
I'm
admit,
actually
though, that was
catching
a
little
pretty
bit of
damn
red.
good.
That was really good, but I'm catching a little bit of red on Celeste's face right now. So
Oh gosh, no, I don't like attention.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. No, yeah, and that's good because I like getting those kind of I had one of our episodes we had was I had talked about like veterans in video games, and the guy I talked to wrote an article for Wired, and he really opened up to me about like how video games really changed his life when he was dealing with PTSD, trauma, suicidal thoughts, and you know, when he would talk about playing games like Mass Effect 2 kind of saved his life, and it was so cool to hear stories like that. And you know, really kind of showcase like what video games mean to a lot of people, and it obviously means a lot to us because it's a big part of our lives, and we like to share that with people.
Yeah, video games can do a lot of good. You know,
Absolutely.
we want to make sure that people understand that you know, this isn't just some like thing that's going to melt our brains. It's, you know, it's actually saved a lot of people from just various conversations that we talked about, kept them sane, got them to bust out of their shell and meet new friends if they played on. I mean, it's actually very amazing what video games can do nowadays.
And they can think about just even the practical skills, your reflexes. They can help you. They've helped me with my vocabulary immensely, having to read the text on certain games.
Yeah. I know there's been tons of studies to showcase that it actually improves dexterity for surgeons. That's a conversation that I have quite often with some of the younger surgeons that come up, because I work at a teaching hospital, so we get a lot of young surgeons come through, and on more than one occasion, like a lot of these surgeons are like, you know, I play a lot of video games, that's why I'm good at this, I'm good at that, or whatever. So it's like kind of cool to hear stuff like that.
Wow, that is awesome. Oh, I got the warm fuzzies. This is the warm fuzzy segment.
Yeah, actually, it's kind of funny. Like one of the surgeons I work with, he's like the head of general surgery. He comes up to me one day. He's like, "Stoy," and I was like, "What?" And he's like, "I got a PS5." I was like, "Oh my god, congratulations!" And he proceeded to tell me the whole story. So excited. We're talking like this mid-40-year-old man, could
Aw.
like pull a bullet out of some dude like within a matter of 2 seconds, like one of the best trauma surgeons you could have, but like, you know, can sit and talk to me for hours about The Witcher 3 and like how I put 200 hours in that game and I'm still not done with it. And I was like, man, bro, like,
Oh, that's so. Well, that leads me to ask. This has nothing to do with video games, but it could have something to do with video games. I don't know. Do
We'll
you
find
guys
a way.
have? What are some of your other hobbies or hidden talents you'd like to talk about? Do you play any instruments? Do you play any kind of sports? Do you collect anything and anything?
Pat, you want to go first?
Sure. I don't know if I'm like have a whole lot of hidden talents. I guess some of the more interesting things about me is I used to volunteer for an animal shelter.
Oh,
I was a caretaker, and that's actually something I'm very passionate about. If I wasn't an accountant, I'd probably have gone in for like zoology and tried to be like a zookeeper. And probably one of my biggest goals in life is to volunteer at a primate shelter.
oh, like Jane Goodall kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love monkeys, and I would love to just be able to go to one of those places and help out for like a month at least. And yeah, I guess that's something interesting about me. I like
Josh?
animals.
Do you have any pets?
Yes, I have cats. I have two
There's
cats.
one.
On cue! On
On
cue!
Yep.
Nice.
And they actually just both came into my room.
Okay,
And one
that
just
is
walked away.
uncanny. Oh, that's what cats do. So you have two cats?
Yeah,
Oh.
I have two older cats, Dash and Chase.
Oh, how cute. I love cats. I wish I could adopt all of them in the world.
Yeah, it was tough working at the animal shelter. It's like, ooh, I want to take you home, but I can't because Chase would chew you up.
Yeah, cats get territorial, man.
Yeah.
And then you don't want your house to smell like a litter box.
Hey,
True that.
come here, big guy.
Oh, if you're watching the video, we're about to see the cat. Oh, okay. Is that?
This is our oldest, Dash.
Hi, Dad.
He actually gave us a scare over the last 2 weeks. He's getting old.
But did you took care of him? Like everything's okay, at least? I know he was talking to us about it like last week.
We're still waiting on the ultrasound. We think he has lymphoma,
Oh, poor baby.
unfortunately. But before he honestly was having trouble pooping. And we would have to bring him to the vet to get him emptied out, and it was getting to the point where it's like he cannot be enjoying this. And you know what? One day he was like really struggling, and he dropped this massive turd, and he's actually been like able to poop. Like he misses the litter box, but we're okay because as long as he's pooping, that means he's still got some life in him.
Welcome to the EXPCast, the video game podcast where we talk about cats pooping.
Cats,
Yep.
cats defecating.
Look, I mean,
but
if
that's good to hear. That's really good to hear.
if we've all been there, so I can only imagine the pain that poor baby was in.
Oh yeah.
Josh.
He's trying to walk on the keyboard right now.
Oh my god.
Josh, how about you?
What about me? YouTube watchers can see pretty much all I am. I am obsessed with video games and 80s and 90s just paraphernalia, and Predator. So like I collect.
Predator fan, yeah.
A huge Predator fan. I collect a bunch of video games, pretty much ranging from anything in television to current. I've just reached about 3,700 games total now.
Wow.
Like just shy of 4,000. And yeah, it's something I started like about 7 years ago, and just kept collecting more and more and finding new things I'd never heard of before and experiencing things I missed when I was younger, and I just kind of never stopped. It just kept accumulating to the point where I'm trying to like essentially make a library of just games for I like showing my niece and my nephew and of a different generation who have never seen or played these things before, like showing them Duck Hunt for the first time is an awesome memory, because all three of them just kind of huddled around the CRT TV just shooting at the ducks, and they're just going crazy because they're not really sure what's going on, but then I'm like, no, that's a good thing, and then they're like, yeah. Like, just the unbridled joy that comes from that, it's awesome, just being able to share it. But yeah, I love Ninja Turtles, always have and always will. Pretty much anything Ninja Turtles I can find, I collect. Like, I mean, I can see the duffel bag like right above my head. And yeah, 80s action movies and Predator in particular. I'd love seeing how they were able to take like the action movie genre with Predator and completely flip it on its head and make it one of the best horror movies I've ever seen, just because these action hero guys come in and they have like, this is how we do things. We just we don't aim, we don't strategize, we just go in there, just pull the trigger, and everything dies. And then all of a sudden they get picked off one by one, and they're like, why isn't this working? Like, like just the 80s superhero action movie logic just doesn't work, and they're just like, what's going on? And I love it.
Why is this big minigun not working?
One day I would love to be able to make my own video games. That's what I went to school for. But I'm actually pretty happy. What I do now is I work at a nonprofit organization, and I run their marketing and their social media department. So it's really rewarding, and I do enjoy doing that a lot more than I ever thought I did or I would. So
That's awesome.
Very cool.
Yep.
Oh.
Story.
I do a lot.
No.
Oh, Mr.
The man
Big
of
Time over
4,000
here.
hobbies.
Yeah, I have a very short attention span, I feel sometimes, because I always want to do other things. So like one of my biggest hobbies I picked up over the last 3 years was home brewing. So I brew beer. Actually, the Irish Red that I was just drinking was one of my own concoctions. I've been doing that for 3 years, and I've kind of dumped a bunch of money into all the equipment and everything. So I've been having a lot of fun with that. Ever since I was a kid, basically soccer was a big part of my life. So I play, I coach. So I've been coaching soccer for the last 15 years. I've been coaching kids like 10, 8 years old to about like high school, college. So I'm currently coaching high school right now. So that's both boys and girls. And I always like to say I like coaching girls better because girls work harder. Because girls get mad when you tell them you can't do something or they need to do it better. Like they get mad and they will prove you wrong. And they will 100% of the time. And they will look at you like, see, coach, I can do it. Like, good for you. Reverse psychology at its best. But no, but I mean, in all honesty, that, like girls growing up, they have a better work ethic. Boys where they're just like, I'm not good at something. Well, I guess I'll go play basketball. So, I mean, that's an easy answer to it. But like, I know that's not the norm across the board, but that's always been a little bit of my experiences with it. I also have 3 motorcycles, and these guys like to make the Harley noises. Sometimes,
because you sold out, boy.
Yeah,
sold out.
I sold out, and I bought a Harley over the last summer. So, yeah.
What did you have before? You ever had like a Yamaha or?
No, so like my first bike I had was like an old Kawasaki Vulcan. And it was like an old cruiser. I still have it. Actually, it's in pieces in my garage right now. I ended up buying a Ducati later on. I also have a Dual Sport. It's kind of like an off-road motorcycle. And then I sold the Ducati and I got the Harley. So
awesome.
Yeah. And I write too. I do that. That's becoming a hobby I'm picking up again. I go back and forth with it. So
He's a Renaissance man.
He really is.
yeah, a little bit of everything, I guess.
That's great though. I mean, that keeps life fresh. You all have interesting hobbies, and it's really good to see people do things outside of work. And I say this on a lot of the 1v1s. It's very easy to get caught up in our responsibilities, our jobs, the mundane aspects of life. And if you don't have hobbies or passions, it's like, what's the point?
Yeah, there's the saying, do you live to work or do you work to live? Like, it's a simple matter of like some people are workaholics and that works for them, where they put in 12-hour days, 7 days a week, or you got people that just do their 8 hours and then leave and go home, go to the gym, go brew beer, play some video games, whatever. Like you gotta really have those hobbies. So
True.
helps with the the brain.
I think
Yep.
so. Well, how can listeners support you guys?
Well, we do have a website, EXPCast.com, that Josh has curated for us. I created one, and we needed to improve it, and Josh said, let me take a stab at it, and like just totally blew it out of the park. And I was like, oh, bro, way to put me to shame.
I'm a graphics guy. It's what I do.
I know, yeah, that's why I was like, yeah, go have it. Like, I am not a graphics guy. But yeah, we website expcast.com, where you can it's like a hub of information. You can find out more about us and where to follow us and stuff. We do have a Patreon at EXPcast. We just put out Josh does episodes with one of his good friends, Jerry. Our good friends, Jerry, actually. We love Jerry. Yeah. And we're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at EXPcast as well. So.
Oh,
And we also are on the Discord, on the Boss Rush Games Discord. So that's kind of like our good community hub for people that are on Discord that want to kind of keep in touch with us and connect with us.
I know someone in there is very active. I don't know who. I don't know if it's all of y'all or two of you.
I think Pat is the most active.
Anytime someone
Maybe.
talks about Monster Hunter, like Pat just like kind of parachutes in.
I've
Hey, you
been
guys
keeping
talking
my
about
eye on
Monster
that
Hunter?
one.
Yeah, you guys talking about Monster Hunter?
No, yeah, that's probably me.
Yeah,
Auditor.
That's
Not a bad thing.
awesome.
not a bad thing.
That's good. No, not at all. I was like, who is this? Because I don't always know who people are until later when, like just now. Oh, okay, that's Pat.
Yeah,
Ooh,
right.
unless
Mhm.
that's supposed to be a secret. I'm so sorry.
No, it's cool. I may be a shy person in real life, but at least I can like express myself on message boards a little bit better.
Listen,
So-
Pat says he's shy, but like listen to one of our episodes. I mean,
He's not shy.
He's not-
Listen
he's
to
not
the
shy.
Last of Us episode.
listen to the
We were straight up about to throw hands.
There's a difference in being shy with people I just met, and once you get to know me, then yeah, I can be opinionated. I can talk a lot. I have
Oh,
weird
yeah.
quirks.
What is
But-
that young jock song? It's going down. Meet me in the club. It's going
It's going
down.
down.
Cash me outside. How about that?
Yeah. Oh, Dr. Phil in here.
Yeah,
Yo.
bringing it back, 2018.
I'm old.
No. 2018 was only 3 years ago.
Stop it. Oh yeah, it was 3 years ago. Jeez, 2021.
Not that long ago. I don't know. It doesn't seem that long ago.
Yeah, it really doesn't.
Well, okay, so I know you shared where people can find you. Did you guys have any Instagram or Twitter, like personal ones that people, I know some people like to share that.
I think I have a personal Instagram, but I don't use it. I think I just scroll through and I don't post. I think if you go on my Instagram, it's all motorcycle pictures. Like I think my last picture was when I drowned one of my motorcycles. I was riding off road and I fell into like a lake,
Ooh.
and like my bike is half submerged, and I actually just looked at it today and I laughed at it because I was like, the only thing I wrote was, well, and that was it.
Well,
Yep.
Oh, poor motorcycle.
Yeah,
uh,
I had to literally lift it up out of that damn. Anyway, good times. Good times. So no, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's Stoyan X10 or something like that or whatever. I think that's my my personal Instagram. So you can follow me there.
you can follow me at Salty Barnacle on Instagram. I post a lot of video game collecting stuff. So if you like looking at pictures of video games, then I'm your guy.
Absolutely. And I like how you spell barnacle. It's like bar nickel.
Yep. But that's actually how you spell my last name.
Oh, okay. That makes a
So
lot
everybody's
of
like,
sense.
oh, like the thing that sticks to the sides of boats. And I'm like, yeah, but not.
It's a play
But
on words.
I'm cool with either of it,
I don't have
But
a
like
social media
it's not even how
presence.
it's spelled, right?
The barnacle has like a CL.
No, yeah,
Not a cat.
the creature is spelled Barnacle, but
Mhm.
my name is easier to spell, and people mess it up. I think on purpose.
They want to mess with you.
People I've had a guy add a T in there once. He's like, "Are you Mr. Bartonicle?" I'm like, "Where did you get a T, man?" Like,
Bro, welcome to my world.
I can imagine.
I can imagine. And Pat, you were saying you don't play around with the social media.
I mean, I have an Instagram. I don't have pictures on the Instagram. I pretty much have it so that I can see other people's Instagrams.
Yeah,
What
that's
else?
mostly what I use social media for. I don't post that often.
Yeah. I don't have social medias. I'm sorry.
You're not missing out too much.
No.
I have Discord. I do the Discord.
Yeah,
I
that's
met
kind of.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say that's kind of that's kind of a good go-to because it's not really social media, but it's just like chat rooms. That's all
I
was
think
gonna
so.
Yeah, it's a
I
little.
agree.
You
Completely.
don't have to put on a facade in there. You can actually be more of yourself, which is nice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You can add me on the video games though. Auditor 415, or if you're PlayStation, Auditor 0415.
Does that have to do with the fact that you're an accountant?
Yes.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Also,
It-
my birthday is 415, so
Oh, it's gonna be here.
people
soon.
say I was born to be an accountant.
On tax day.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for your time on this lovely St. Patrick's Day. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Thank you so much for having us. I really, really appreciate the invite. Thank you for joining us on our show, and thank you for bringing us on this. We really appreciate it. At least I appreciate it. I don't know about these guys. I can't.
No, absolutely. He beat me to it. I was going to say the exact same thing. Thank you. And
I
thank
had
you
fun.
to Boss Rush Games. We're really glad to be a part of it, and I'm excited to see where we go from here.
Mhm.
Nowhere to go but up, boys. Let's go.
Yeah,
Let's
boy.
do this.
Yo!
Let's
Oh,
go.
Well, thank you so much. I love these. I love interviewing people. And we just met a few days ago, and then I was like, y'all want to do your 1v1 soon?
Yeah, and what was our answer? Hell yeah, let's do it this week.
We want to talk
Well,
about ourselves.
It's like stories like, oh yeah, we should totally do it. And Celeste is like, okay, let's set up a time. Yeah, anytime. Then I'm like, guys, come on.
Find the date.
Let's pick a day here.
Yeah, right.
Pick a day. We're going to actually have one, a solid date. Well, thank you all again for your time on this 1v1. And listeners, you can find me at Fairy Crypt on Twitter and Instagram. And you can listen to Boss Rush wherever you listen to podcasts. And you can watch this on YouTube if you haven't already. Until next time, see you later. Bye, guys.
Bye. Have a beautiful time.